Hey Starseeds, it's Deborah. Thank you so much for tuning in. What's been on my mind a lot has been the word duality. And I'm sure that you can all agree that we are seeing the nature of duality very, very clearly right now. So when I talk about duality, I mean like the polarities on Earth, and especially when you judge things relative to each other. So how you value things, right? If you might see them as good and bad or positive and negative. And when you do this, which is very natural because we live in that kind of dualistic environment, this is what Earth is made for, is to help you learn by looking at things in a relativistic way. So we're seeing that really clearly in our outer reality right now. There's all sorts of different stories and narratives. And some people are getting to the point where they really are being faced with these dualities and with their issues that are coming up. And that is really something that we need to cherish as an opportunity to grow in our consciousness and to not minimize doing your inner work, because you don't have to feel like you are enlightened already or going towards enlightenment. So I just want to say this because there's a lot of talk about transcending duality, and that's quite an advanced spiritual concept. Well, it's not even a concept, it's a way of life, right? And so some of you might not be at that point yet, and I mean, I'm still working in duality. I'm striving to be more in multi-dimensionality, which is the ability to suspend judgment and just witness everything going around, and also merge with the divine consciousness of love, and you transcend duality through love. And of course we have moments and moments of this until we learn to live this way, but that is a very advanced spiritual lesson. And so there's nothing wrong with you being in your stage of duality, as that's what's around us. It's very natural. But if you're starting to play around with the idea of transcending duality, then really what you need to look at is dissolving the ego. And if you've done that already, for the most part, through your inner work, then you're well on your way to transcending duality through merging with the vibration of divine love or the Christ consciousness. Because it's only really when you learn to love everything that's happened to you, because you've processed it enough that you can see it as an opportunity and you're not getting a negative emotional charge from it. So when you can see those things and you can be in that state of transcendence, and also that means you can love yourself, because you don't hold any shame about the things that you've gone through, or didn't get your lessons fast enough, or you put yourself in situations, or you were tricked or manipulated or whatever. But when you can really go into that self-compassion and look at yourself as a growing consciousness, that's when you can merge with the vibration of the Christ consciousness or divine love. So being able to exist in that state for most of your day is really the goal for a lot of starseeds, because you've come here from higher dimensional reality and you've come here to anchor these really high frequencies. So it would be natural that that would coincide with your own path, or you're ready for this kind of spiritual mastery, because your mission entails you being able to be love as much as possible. So for those of you who are well on your way, congratulations. It's been a really tough road doing your inner work. It takes a lot of courage and dedication, and it can be very isolating because, you know, if you've been doing your inner work until now, you're ahead of the masses because they're just waking up to the fact that they have trauma. So good for you for doing that. And for those of you who are in the process of your inner work, I commend you, because it can be a very challenging period and it can be very lonely at times. But it's so worth it. It's so worth it. And what I think a lot of people don't end up talking about is what are the results, like really the concrete results of doing your inner work. whether that be through tapping or other kinds of energy modalities like the emotion code and the body code, which are very effective, combined with, let's say, I don't know, Jungian analysis or shamanic work, shadow work. All of these are really, really powerful modalities for clearing up the emotional charge from traumatic memories and experiences, even at the collective and ancestral level. And that's also something that will need to be looked at. The concrete benefits of doing your inner work is, well, naturally you're going to feel a lot better most of the time, because you're not going to have these heavy mass, because actually trauma carries mass. The energy vibrates at a slower resonance because it's heavier. And so you feel kind of heavy, and then when the ascension energies come in, you don't really connect with the bliss and love as much as you'd like, because you've got these slower vibrating particles that are kind of blocking that energy. If you think about it, like it's dense mass, right? And these energies hit kind of like if they were electricity, how they would dissolve everything and then start to break up and leave you. That's really what shadow work is about. So when you don't have that heavy mass holding you down, you can experience a lot more feelings of well-being. So inner peace and positivity, more creativity, because you're connected and open, and higher frequencies can get in a lot easier. You also experience better states of health and better immunity, because as you free your organs from traumatic memories and in your muscles and in your meridians even, your whole body shifts and gets really happy. Not only is it attuned to a higher frequency where illness doesn't really take place, because if you have this feeling that you love yourself and you value yourself, you also are acting that out through healthy practices, and you're taking that self-care, and you're eating properly and getting enough rest and good quality water, and you're detoxing your metals. Your body is really going to reward you with abundant health and a really vibrant immune system that can withstand all sorts of things that would otherwise infect you, let's say. Your relationships naturally improve, because as you learn how to really love yourself and what kind of behavior you will accept from other people, you develop better boundaries, and you start to not only raise your expectations of the kinds of people you want in your inner circle, or you want to have romantic relationships with, or you want to exchange sexual energy with, you're also creating the vibration of a higher being, and so that vibration will attract consciousness to you that resonates at a similar vibration. So your relationships start to change. I can tell you an amazing thing that's happened, a personal thing with my father. So my dad and I were never close growing up. We had a really strained relationship growing up, and in my 20s is when I started doing my inner work. And I would say in my 30s is when I really started processing towards my father and just loving him and realizing he's his own person, and his rejection of me, while painful, I could see as just his level of consciousness, and it was easy to not even forgive, because I'm in no place to forgive him, right? But just I saw him for what he really is, and not as a projection of what I wanted him to be anymore. So as I continued to just accept and love him, I treated him better, and now our relationship is completely different than it was 20 years ago. I can honestly say I have a pretty good relationship with my dad right now, a far better relationship than I had ever anticipated. It was just a natural progression. So I wanted to state that out. It's kind of like the Ho'oponopono, when you really concentrate on loving someone, even if it's just a matter of witnessing them and accepting them for who they are and not reacting when they push your buttons. It can have dramatic changes over time. So yeah, that's something you can look forward to as well. The ability to manifest faster. Now this is the best benefit of doing your inner work, because when you don't have all that heavy density holding you down and blocking you, you can actually attune to a frequency of being able to receive things, of understanding how abundant the earth is and all the energy available to you and how you are able to use that. You deserve to use it. It's part of you. These limitations, these limiting beliefs about not being worthy of receiving things, or certain things not being possible, you start to really attune to more miracles, the miracle of creation. All you need is an opportunity, and it's really easy to create an opportunity, especially when you lose that attachment to the outcome of something, because you've become so peaceful and you've really dissolved a lot of your desires from the ego to have things a certain way. You can just kind of detach and say, well, I would like this. If it doesn't happen, it's not the end of the world, but that's what I would like. And then boom, it comes into your reality. So that's a really, really fun benefit of doing the inner work. So those are just a few things that I wanted to mention today, just to encourage you to keep going with your shadow work. And I also wanted to let you know that I do clearings. I do auric clearings where I go through your chakras and I use sacred geometry and scalar language. It's actually called soul alchemy. I was trained under Gustavo Castañer. And I go up and I can clear hidden trauma and stored memories in your chakras. And I do this with my intuitive abilities and the ability to get into the quantum field and actually the codes and my directions work with this energy at a much subtler level. So that's a really, really profound experience, and it can be very, very beneficial for clearing entities as well, or nuisance energies, or any kind of stuck and stagnant energy that maybe, originated from a traumatic experience you had, even when you were like 2 or 3 years old. Things like that will come up. So yeah, just to let you know that I do these auric clearings. And if you're interested in that, you can check out my website under Intuitive Healings, and I look forward to hearing from you. Otherwise, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you enjoyed this video and the information that I have to share with you. And I'm sending a big, big hug out to all of you during these challenging times, and know that there's so much love and support available to you right now to do this inner work and to learn more about transcending duality, if that's something that you're interested in. There are lots of wonderful teachers online that talk about that.